How do I learn to be more aggressive to improve my results in my daily training? That is this week's question of the week. I am al-Aziz, the owner and head instructor of Semper Fortis Jiu Jitsu here in San Antonio, Texas. And this question of the week is coming from one of my former students who's a blue belt, Madeline, and her husband are stationed overseas now. And at the current gym she's training at, they're very aggressive, they're very top-oriented, very competitive, a lot of former wrestlers there, military people. And so Madeline had sent me a message. She's like, hey, what can I do, to be more aggressive, to have better results against these type of grapplers? Because Madeline's jiu-jitsu, she is very defense-oriented, and then she just, looks for mistakes, and which ironically is very similar to my jiu-jitsu. Hence, I'm the person that awarded her a blue belt and initially trained her. So, how do you change that? And that's a great question. And my answer is, you don't change it. You don't fit yourself into jiu-jitsu. You find a way to fit Brazilian jiu-jitsu into you and into your life and into your personality. And some people are naturally aggressive. They're very intense, and that's the way they train. That's the way they compete, and that works for them. And then other people are, just sort of happy-go-lucky, or they're very calm, and they're very analytical, and they're just looking for opportunities. And so jiu-jitsu will have to fit into your personality, rather than trying to change your personality to fit into what some people may think this is what jiu-jitsu has to be. And so what works for me in as far as my personality and the way I approach my matches, the way I approach my training. That works really well for me because I'm sort of a happy-go-lucky kind of person. I'm almost always very calm. I don't get hyped up. And not to say people that are very aggressive or get really hyped up before matches don't do well. They do exceptionally well also. So I've gone against people where I've been very calm, very relaxed, and they've been very hyper, very intense, and submitted them in competition. And vice versa, I've gone in very calm, very relaxed against people who have been very hyper and very intense, and they submitted me in competition. So sometimes it's just how it's going to be. It's how you fit jiu-jitsu into your personality. And so my recommendation is don't try to change your personality to somehow be better at jiu-jitsu just because these certain personality traits work for somebody else, because it may not work for you. And what I found for me is early in my jiu-jitsu journey, I tried to do jiu-jitsu like other people, be more intense, be more hyped up, whether it was listening to music, jumping up and down, whatever, you'll see people in competition, they get really intense. And it didn't work for me. What works for me is I just go in, I calmly fist bump, I'm glad to see you, and then we go. And the same way in training. That's how I train. But other people train in a more intense way, and that works for them, and that's cool too. And I think part of it is learn to be happy with who you are. And what I mean by that is whether you're training in your gym or whether you're competing, you are who you are. And say for Madeline's case, heck, she doesn't weigh much more than 100 pounds. She's had 2 babies. So she's a mother. She's got a lot going on in life. She's a wife. There's a lot going on in life. A military wife at that. So she's moving around the country. And she's training against people who might be white belts, blue belts, purple belts, who may, in some cases, outweigh her by 50 pounds, 100 pounds, maybe a lot stronger than her, maybe a lot more athletic than her. And maybe much more intense than her. And sometimes, it's going to work out well for you, but, you are at a certain disadvantage. And, I know you'll hear people say, oh, size doesn't matter in jiu-jitsu. That is one of the biggest lies I've ever heard. It absolutely does matter. Size, strength, athleticism, quickness, those are all factors. Now, can a very skilled, less athletic, smaller person overcome an unskilled, bigger, more athletic person? Yes. But if both are skilled and one weighs 100 pounds and the other weighs 300 pounds and they're both same skill level, well, the 300 pounder is going to win. And there's a reason, like when you watch the world championships and you look at the absolute division, the majority of time, the black belt that wins the adult absolute division is somebody that's in the super heavyweight or ultra heavyweight division. Because size, strength, those things are a factor. So don't get caught up in, like this pretend that I hear so many martial artists, especially in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, talk about where they're like, oh, size and strength and athleticism doesn't matter. It absolutely does matter. It is a factor. Can it be overcome? Yes, with great technique. But it's going to be a battle. And in some cases, like, you got to be happy. What I have found in jiu-jitsu as well as in life, and mind you, I turned 55 in a few months. You got to be happy with who you are, and just realize that who you're not going to be. Like, for instance, last night, me and some of the students here and my wife, we all went out and we did karaoke. Now, I did karaoke. I won't show you a recording of it because there's nothing to see. But I sang my heart out. I've been singing my heart out in the car, in the shower, for years. To the Rolling Stones, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash. For years I've been doing this. So last night, we was at this karaoke place, and I sang a Willie Nelson song. I sang a Rolling Stones song. I even participated with a friend. We sang We Are the World. And to my great surprise, nobody stopped afterwards and said, Saad, you should get out of the jiu-jitsu business, go on the road with your vocal talents, and share them with the world because you are truly gifted. Not one person has ever heard me sing karaoke and said that to me, at least not in a serious way. And I'm cool with that because I know when I sing, what was I singing last night? Angie by the Rolling Stones. I know I don't sing it as well as Mick Jagger. And I've been singing it for years in the car, in the showers. Like wherever I'm at, song comes on, I sing it with all my heart and passion. But I don't sing it very well. And I'm okay with that. And my point with that is, jiu-jitsu is the same. Like your skills are going to improve, you're going to get better and better. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to be as good as Hoist Gracie. I'm never going to be, the next Hickson Gracie. No one's coming to me saying, Saad, that dude Gordon Ryan is out of control. I think you need to meet him in the next ADCC and put him in line. That kid would wipe up the mats with me. Like, that's not who I am. And I'm cool with the fact that there's certain greatness that I'm just not going to achieve in life. There's certain things that I'm just not that talented at. I can be as good as I can be. And at the end of the day, that's my goal, is to be the best I can be at whatever task that I'm applying myself to. So in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, just like in music, I love it. I enjoy it. And that's why I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And that's also why I sing passionately in my pickup truck driving down the road when some song I like comes on. Am I good at it? Not so much, but I enjoy it. And so realize that with jiu-jitsu. Like sometimes you're just gonna go up against people. Like for instance, 3 times I've gone against Megaton Diaz in jiu-jitsu competitions. And I'm just happy to be there. Megaton's jumping up and down, smacking his face. He's hyped, he goes out there and has commenced to just whooping my butt. I think on the videos If you go into one of the videos, sod competition, I have one of the matches against Megaton. He just took me apart. And 3 times that's happened. I remember one time we was getting ready, it was the Pan Ams, maybe about 4 years ago, and we was both in the absolute division. And I was talking to Megaton in the bullpen because, we're friends and he's a great guy. And I was like, oh, Megaton, if you win your first match and I win my first match, we'll get a rematch. And he's like, oh, it'd be my honor, brother. He won his first match in the Pan Am's Absolute. I won my first match in the Pan Am's Absolute. I got my rematch. And I had my buddy there, Isaac, coaching me, who's an outstanding black belt. And, I knew my students were back here at school watching it on video through, I think it was Flow Grappling or something like that. They was watching. One of my best friends, Fabio Navas, was the referee. And I thought, man, this might be me. This might be the time. And, I'm happy to be there. I'm in the moment. I see Megaton, he's jumping up and down. He's smacking his face. And I see Hoyler's going to coach him. And Hoyler Gracie, that is. One of the greatest jiu-jitsu practitioners ever, is going to coach Megaton against me. And, I'm laughing with my buddy Isaac. And he's like, what do you think, Saad? I said, well, I think it's going to come down to coaching. If you can out-coach Hoyler, I think I can win this match. We both laughed. I went out there against Megaton, and he commenced whooping my butt. It wasn't Isaac's fault. But, it's like, it is what it is. Like, hey, man, I gave it my best. Megaton gave it his best. We had 2 different styles, and he was just better than me. And all 3 times I've gone against him, he's been better than me. And will I go against him a 4th time? I would be more than happy to. Will it be a different result? I'm going to try. But I understand who I am. I love jiu-jitsu. That's why I train. That's why I own a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school. That's why I like to compete when I'm physically able. And like I said, I'm going to be 55 this year. You have to be comfortable with who you are. So I know I'm never going to be the UFC champ. I'm never going to be the adult world champ in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I'm never going to be asked to be the new lead singer of the Rolling Stones. It's like, I am who I am. And after all these years of life, I love who I am. So I encourage you and anybody watching this to enjoy Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or whatever hobby or endeavors that you love doing. Enjoy it and do it not because you're going to be the best in the world or you're overly talented in it. Do it because you enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, regardless of the outcome or the results, it's a good endeavor to be in. So that's my answer to this week's question of the week. If you got a question for next week, feel free to fire below and I will give you my best answer. And until then, ciao.